process. James will talk a little bit more about the book in specific. It's nice as well that we have a writer in the middle of us. One of the articles of the book, Raphael. Briefly, a little bit about the history of the global vote. So the global vote was started in January 2007. And so I was traveling in Myanmar in 2007, or Burma, and then again I realized that the world is not a perfect place. There's a lot of things to improve. And one of the things is like Burma. If you look in Burma, I think 95% of the global population will agree that a change is needed. But the world is not doing anything. So there, something is lacking. That the opinion of the world, like we the people or the world citizens, in certain aspects is so different than they the decision makers. And what can we do about it? But the world has changed, because you can see that everybody can go online and can contact somebody on the other side of the planet. So what can we do is this advanced technology and it kind of like this need for another way how we take global decisions. So then we came up with the global vote. We came up with an ID where the internet, that every citizen of the world can become a member and can vote or shadow vote on the current global decisions, or the current global issues which are going on.
For the past year or so, we've been editing all the articles into this global decision making towards the democratic process. Now we're very proud of the book. We hope you take a look. They're over at the table over there. It goes over a few things: voting structure of international organizations, internet's influence on the political sphere, civil society's influence on the world stage. So yeah, we're very happy about it. And one of the other educational projects that we're doing is holding speaking events like this.
The fact that you can find systematic results across publics and across countries should actually be reassuring for those of us that want a more open and inclusive global polity. Okay? So that's the kind of the yay. It's a little reassuring sort of thing. We can ask people very complicated questions, and not only will they respond and not say, oh, I don't know, but also B, that we can systematically ascertain what those are, and their responses in that sense make sense. Okay?
Well, one of the ways that journalism has improved through technology is it increases the access. So it's not just that I'm speaking to people in my hometown. You know, I put something on the internet, it's accessible to anybody on the internet who can get there. And it's now accessible even if there's no language barrier, thanks to Google Translator. And what's happened with technology is that it has increased the number of voices. So why is this important? This is especially important in places where there are repressive regimes. For instance, this past summer in Iran, there was an election that was highly contested, and people went out in the streets and they protested. The general press, the mass media press, they had their movements restricted. They were only allowed to report in the office. They weren't allowed to go out into the street. The citizens of Iran used cell phones, they used Twitter, they used computers, they used YouTube, they used Facebook to get their message out. And the mass media was an aid to that, but at the same time, they had their hands tied. So what's happened is you have this great democratization of information where people are able to go out and have their voices heard and bypass traditional forms of communication. At the end of the day, I think that citizens are smarter than governments. There's just more of us, for one thing.
Well, I think if there's no one else, I think we may wrap things up. I really want to thank both Tony and Martin.
One of the findings of research about attitudes about foreign policy suggests that attitudes by the elite and mass are distinct. Okay, in the American context, for example, elites tend to be more multilateral, more pro-free trade, while mass is more isolationist, less in favor of integration. If you think about that in the context of what Global Vote's trying to do, that in a sense they're using technology to level the playing field, right? By saying, okay, fine, understanding that there's differences exist is one thing, but actually giving people differing levels of voice is quite another. And so, in a sense, the intent of this enterprise is to be more inclusive, actually, and to get past that divide.
I think today's book launch was very successful. I think it's very important we get a wide array of people expressing their opinion about the global decision making. So the Global Vote has given out a book with 6 articles which can help to fuel the discussion on global decision making. And today we as well had like a journalist and an academic expressing their opinion. On the one hand, I think the Global Vote is collecting their opinion of the world through the internet website we have. On the other hand, we want to act like a think tank and organize more of these meetings where we discuss together with an interesting public about what can be improved in the global decision-making process.